Heya Cryptozens, welcome back to the Crypto Overnighter. My name is Nikodemus and we do crypto news analysis nightly at 10 p.m. And keep in mind, none of this should be considered financial advice. And it's Thursday, February 16th, 2023. Friday Eve, and I am feeling it. And the SEC has sucked all of the oxygen out of the room for a few days now. It looks like we might finally have a minute to talk about something else. Although we really can't get too far away from regulation in some form or fashion. Senator Elizabeth Warren and Senator Roger Marshall are working on a new law. This law would make anti-money laundering rules apply to cryptocurrency. This would include many different types of people involved with crypto. It would include digital asset wallet providers, miners, validators, and other people. Now, Senator Marshall and Senator Warren are bringing back their anti-money laundering bill for another attempt. This bill works to stop crypto crime, but also to help regulators stop the flow of cryptocurrency to places like North Korea and drug traffickers. Now, Warren talked about this during a hearing regarding crypto on Tuesday, and she thinks that the current anti-money laundering rules are just not good enough for crypto companies. Warren and Marshall's original bill from last December would have stopped banks and financial institutions from doing business with digital asset mixers like Tornado Cash because of their ability to hide transactions on public blockchains. If the bill is introduced the same way as it was last December, that would mean if you're a U.S. citizen and you use offshore accounts and you transact $10,000 or more in digital assets, you have to report that. The Treasury Department would also have to check that money service businesses follow anti-money laundering rules. Large U.S. crypto companies must register under these rules. Now, Warren said during Tuesday's hearing that crypto was used a lot in the last year for illegal activities. Drug traffickers, North Korean hackers, and ransomware attackers used crypto to make a lot of money, with drug traffickers making over $1 billion, North Korean hackers over $1.7 billion, and almost $500 million made by ransomware attackers. That's why Warren thinks that anti-money laundering rules need to be stricter for digital assets. Now, meanwhile, Senator Tom Tillis, he's a Republican from North Carolina, and he's creating a new law that would require digital asset exchanges and custodians in the United States to prove their reserves. This would be an independent verification. Tillis said that this new law would be easier to pass than a full-on framework for cryptocurrency. Tillis is on the Senate Banking Committee, and he prefers a lenient regulatory approach. His bill aims to prevent another company collapse like FTX after a run on their exchange token. This bill also prohibits companies from mixing customer assets with company funds, which is something that FTX and Alameda Research are accused of having done. Now, under this proposed law, U.S. companies holding customer digital assets must share audited proof of reserves quarterly. These proof of reserves will be made public on the Treasury Department's website. If a company cannot find an auditing firm, they must use a third-party firm to verify their holdings. If a company fails to submit those attestations, they will face civil penalties. The fines will increase after every failure to comply. Now, Tillis wants to introduce this bill within a week after securing support from Democratic offices. He and his staff are in talks with them now. Senator Tommy Tuberville wants 401k retirement plans to be able to invest in crypto. He reintroduced the Financial Freedom Act on February 15th. This bill would reverse the Department of Labor's policy on 401k investments. That policy restricts investing in cryptocurrency. This bill would prevent the DOL, the Department of Labor, from taking action against individuals who invest in crypto using brokerage windows. Now, Tuberville believes that the government should not be picking winners or losers in investments. He wants the people to have financial freedom. His bill ensures that people can invest their money as they wish. The bill allows everyone who earns a paycheck to invest in their future. Senators Cynthia Lummis, Rick Scott, and Mike Braun joined Tuberville as co-sponsors of the bill. In December of last year, Lummis said she supports including Bitcoin in U.S. investors' retirement accounts. Now, this was after major firms, including FTX, Voyager Digital, and Celsius, went bankrupt in a crypto market crash. On Valentine's Day, Politico reported that Representative Byron Donalds of Florida would introduce a similar bill to the House of Representatives on February 17th. Both Tuberville and Donalds are Republicans. This means they will likely face opposition from Democrats, including Senator Warren. Warren has expressed concerns about including crypto in 401k accounts in the past. In March of 2022, the Department of Labor warned 401k account holders about the risks of investing in cryptocurrencies. This notice advised people to be careful and listed potential risks like fraud, theft, and loss of funds. On February 7th, the SEC and FINRA issued a notice about the risks of investing in cryptocurrencies through self-directed individual retirement accounts. The Financial Services Commission of South Korea has given guidance on defining security tokens. Security tokens are digitized using distributed ledger technology. This puts South Korea in line with other Asian jurisdictions. Firms will be responsible for regulating themselves. Angela Ang is a senior policy advisor at TRM Labs. She says that South Korea's approach to security token offerings is similar to that of Singapore and Hong Kong, because they tie the definition of securities to the scope of security token offerings. And Ang was once a regulator at the Monetary Authority of Singapore. Ang says that regulatory clarity will encourage innovation in South Korea's capital markets. Traditional securities firms were hesitant to enter the market before guidance was released. According to Mooney Kim of law firm Kim & Chang, the securities law potential application to tokens was similar to the U.S. The question of how always followed. Shinhan Investment and Securities, a large securities company in South Korea, has invited other firms to join an alliance. The goal is to educate investors about the benefits of token securities. This alliance will also establish standards and best practices for issuing and trading these securities. And traditional finance firms that already have securities licenses are responding to the guidance. Now, one crypto exchange executive doesn't think the guidance will impact their business much. They spoke anonymously because they want to maintain a good relationship with regulators. This executive doesn't see the guidance as an endorsement of the crypto industry. They see it as accurately defining asset types should come first. Securities are already available on the securities market, according to the executive. And so they're waiting for the result of the SEC's lawsuit against Ripple. They don't want South Korea to be too hasty in their regulatory approach. The Korea Securities Depository will monitor token issuers and the total amount of issued assets. A South Korean gaming company called WeMade allegedly provided false disclosure about the number of WeMix tokens it issued. And as a result, major crypto exchanges delisted WeMix. This happened last year. Now, South Korean legislators will revise existing laws to include security tokens. Regulators will propose amendments to the Capital Markets Act and the Electronic Securities Act. These amendments will be presented to the National Assembly in the first half of this year. Now, last year, the collapse of the Terra System UST stablecoin prompted South Korean regulators to draft a regulatory framework for the crypto industry. The Digital Asset Basic Act will eventually shape the framework and provide stronger consumer protections. Firms will start by self-regulating, according to the guidance. Interested parties, such as issuers and brokers, must determine if a token is a security. Now, crypto players will have to classify their tokens and determine if they need to be regulated under the securities regime. Now, companies without securities-related licenses must apply for licensure, which can take a year or two, depending on the licenses and the business model. Angela Ang believes that there will be difficulties as businesses and regulators determine what qualifies as a security. So it's going to be just like the U.S. According to Ang, the FSC will give guidance to aid in this decision and will review each determination on a case-by-case basis. The Financial Stability Board is a financial regulator funded by the Bank of International Settlements. Now, the Bank of International Settlements, the BIS, is where central banks go when they need a central bank. And so the Financial Stability Board wants to make international regulations for DeFi. On February 16th, the FSB issued a report on DeFi's financial stability risks. This report talks about vulnerabilities, transmission channels, and DeFi's evolution. Because while DeFi offers many new services, it's similar to TradFi in its functions. Now, by copying TradFi's functions, DeFi can become more vulnerable due to its use of new technology combined with a lack of regulation. The board also says that DeFi systems are often less decentralized than is claimed by their originators. The FSB is working with global standard setting bodies to evaluate DeFi regulations in various jurisdictions. This is to avoid financial stability risks related to DeFi. They suggest examining where DeFi users enter, including stablecoins and centralized crypto asset platforms, to avoid risks. The FSB may consider imposing more requirements on these crypto asset types and entities in order to reduce risks. They may also enforce existing requirements more strictly. Asset-backed stablecoins are important for DeFi. They're used for buying, selling, and borrowing other crypto assets. Stablecoins can increase the adoption of DeFi solutions and crypto assets as payment. However, the FSB says that liquidity and maturity mismatch issues with stablecoins are a significant area of concern. So, it's necessary to understand the different stablecoins' peculiarities to monitor the risks that they pose to the crypto industry, including DeFi ecosystems. Global regulators are closely examining some significant stablecoins. Paxos Trust has announced that it will stop issuing Binance USD stablecoins due to an ongoing investigation by New York regulators. These regulators allege that BUSD is an unregistered security and ordered Paxos Trust to stop issuing BUSD. This news comes amidst increasing scrutiny of major stablecoins. The European Union has a mixed relationship with privacy. It was the first to enforce strict data protection rules. However, its central bank digital currency project doesn't have the same level of anonymity as private cryptocurrencies. Now, last week, EU lawmakers took a significant step towards privacy in digital identities. They added zero-knowledge proofs to the European Digital Identity Framework. The Industry, Research, and Energy Committee voted 55 to 18 in favor of this amendment. Now, the draft will go through the negotiation phase called trilogue. The latest draft is not yet public, but the press release says that EU citizens would have complete control over their data. They can choose which information to share and with whom. The new EID allows citizens to identify themselves online without relying on commercial providers. This practice has raised concerns about trust, security, and privacy. Jonas Friedrichsen, the Senior Director of EU Government Affairs at Circle, tweeted that the proposal would help new business models and opportunities emerge. These models rely on zero-knowledge proofs and EID solutions. Companies can develop innovative products and services using these solutions. Researchers are focusing on zero-knowledge proofs as a way to maintain regulatory compliance and privacy in digital currencies. The MENA Foundation, the German Hauck Aufsichtsrat Lamp-Bank, and Interdisciplinary Center for Security, Reliability, and Trust of the University of Luxembourg cooperated on a paper. They explained how to connect zero-knowledge proofs to Europe's electronic identity system. Now, Balas Nemethi is the CEO of Very Labs and is co-founder at KYC DAO. He doesn't believe in this solution. In his article on Cointelegraph, he stated that proofs are sometimes not enough. Personal information sharing is crucial in a transaction. Therefore, relying solely on off-chain solutions is advisable. Canada's security regulator, the Canadian Securities Administrators, will soon make stricter rules for crypto exchanges. The CSA demanded commitments from unregistered crypto platforms last year while they seek registration. The CSA did not comment on changes to the PRU regime, but will release more information soon. The SEC has started to take stronger action against crypto firms, including Kraken and Paxos. Other G7 nations, such as Canada and the UK, are also stepping up their efforts to regulate the industry due to last year's failures. Canadian industry members are concerned about the need for individual approvals from regulators in different regions. Canada's marketplace rules for alternative trading systems can't apply to other regions. One anonymous person stated that the PRU update will be devastating for Canadian crypto industry, making it too expensive to operate in Canada. The Ontario Securities Commission is driving this update. Some global crypto exchanges in Canada will be affected by the tighter regulations. Binance Canada has had some issues with the OSC before. Coinbase is a US regulated crypto exchange, and they operate in Canada under the AMF. The AMF regulates finance in Quebec, Canada. As I understand it though, Coinbase could switch from AMF to Ontario's OSC if it made more sense for them. And that's going to do it for us this evening. I want to thank you, my listeners, because when you stop listening, I will stop talking. If you enjoyed tonight's show, then please like, follow, and subscribe. Leave a rating or review. And in the meantime, we'll see you tomorrow night.